All right, we're at the park, Miami, Coconut Grove, Florida, and a lot of people want to know how to work out as a massage therapist to regain your energy and to detox and to feel at your best, to feel that vigor again. And I've experimented with almost everything that you can try for the last 12 years. I spent tens of thousands of dollars on many different subscriptions to gyms. I tried CrossFit, Hard Exercise Works, rock climbing, Olympic rings. I have a bachelor's in exercise science and health promotion. And so we did a little bit of everything: Olympic weightlifting, kettlebells, swimming, calisthenics, traditional bodybuilding, aerobics, group exercise classes, Orange Theory. The list goes on and on and on of all the different things that you can do for your body. Took a Tai Chi course at FAU, practiced some Qigong, did a lot of yoga, Hatha yoga. And so when it comes to being vibrant and at your best and detoxing the system so that you can actually be so bountiful in your energy and your enthusiasm that you just attract success, right? Even beyond just your current clientele. Maybe you want to work with elite athletes. Maybe you want to work with celebrities. I've worked with celebrities. I've worked with elite athletes. I've worked with the most famous and rich business owners in the world here at the Boca Raton Hotel here in Florida. And I gotta say, they all feel your energy and your intention, and they all feel who you really are. So if you have the energy, if you have the good intentions, then people are gonna sense that. So it's not only your purity and your willingness to help them, it's if you're actually radiating the image of health that they want to be, right? So that's why we talk about being a whole person, an integrated person. It's not just about having your intentions right, it's about actually walking the walk, being healthy, so that people sense that. A lot of marketing is actually, a lot of sales, I should say, is actually subconscious. People just feel like they want to be with you. They want to do business with you. And so that's the number one thing that we can do for our success, is radiate more powerful, vibrant goodwill and health. And so when you're thinking about how to fit exercise into your lifestyle to be the most successful, vibrant, energized, inspirational massage therapist that you can be, you gotta pick something that resonates with you. You gotta be passionate about it. It's backwards walking here. You gotta be passionate about it. It's gotta feed into what you love. For some of you, it's Pilates. For some of you, it is bodybuilding. But there's a couple traps. There's traps in any of these things. So for me, I really loved bodybuilding, and I really loved strength training. And, I'd get in there and I would gladly do it every day if I could, right? It was kind of like what Arnold says. It's like better than being with a woman. But when you start overtraining and depending on it for your well-being, your mental health, your vitality, then that's a slippery slope. Now, it's good because, yes, it does provide mental health, and it does provide some social status. It does provide socializing. It's like a community. So all those things are good, but that cannot be the only leg that you're standing on when it comes to all those things. And that's what it became for me. I didn't know how to take care of my health in any other way. And so when I had the stress, when I developed the bad eating habits, when I started getting a little bit more toxic, because you're eating a little bit too much of the sweets after work, the comfort food, then your one tool isn't necessarily going to fix that. Especially over the years, you feel the accumulation happen, right? So you have to actually understand, beyond just that one tool, beyond your Pilates or beyond your yoga, beyond your weightlifting, beyond your running. I was a jogger before too. Beyond your wind sprints, beyond your swimming protocol, which are all good because those all help you detox. But you have to go beyond. You have to have something even in addition to that, so that you can completely reset and cleanse your system. See, none of those things will completely reset and cleanse your system. And the dark side to all these things is that you can overtrain and they can actually become a stress, and they can actually create toxins in your system by weakening your central nervous system, thereby weakening your digestion. It's kind of like you weaken the main power electric plant of your city, and everything that uses electricity from there gets weaker. So you don't want to overtrain it, and that's what stress does. So I would come back, I would work too many clients, feel overstressed, not have enough time for me. One of the biggest problems for us is not enough self-care, right? So we don't have enough self-care. We're not taking the Epsom salt baths, we're not meditating, we're not taking the time to nourish ourselves with family time, friend time. Maybe you even give up watching your 30-minute TV show. You stop reading books. And so the stress continues to accumulate more and more and more over the months, over the years, until you don't even feel like yourself. That's what happened to me. And it was horrible, because when you don't have enough energy, when you're burning out, you feel like isolating. You feel like you go into this derpy state to where you save energy, you're lazy, you don't want to go out, you don't really even want to talk. You realize how much energy everything takes. So you start cutting corners, socializing less, isolating more, and you do a worse job at work. And so slowly you feel the deterioration. And if you keep it up, you're going to start losing things. You're going to start losing relationships, losing clients, losing your health, losing your sleep, losing your strength, losing your passion. You might even lose your boyfriend or girlfriend, because you're not yourself when you're burning out. And so it's best to pay attention to these signs and symptoms before your entire life starts breaking down. It can ruin your whole life. You start spending money on doctors and supplements that don't work. You get discouraged. You don't want to let it get to your head, okay? So I started feeling the anxiety, I started feeling the depression, I started feeling the drop in mood and enthusiasm. That's why we always talk about vitality, because if you feel vital, you wake up tap dancing to work, you just know something's right about your health. But if you're not, you gotta be smart, you gotta be wise and read the warning signs. And so you read a lot of books about people who talk about the dangers of overstressing your system. The body keeps the score, Professor Vanderkolk. And that's just talking about any mental trauma gets stored in the body. And so we gotta understand how to take care of our body when we're burning out. We gotta understand the connection, how to take care of our mind and our body. So, that's why detoxing is so important. It's such a broad field that involves everything in your life. So if you get good at detoxing, you're going to understand everything. You're going to understand how to detox your entire organ system. You're going to understand nutrition. You're going to understand how you detox when you sleep. You're going to understand how to detox when you exercise. You're going to understand how to detox your social system, detox your mind, detox your subconscious. Everything that we talk about on this channel are all the things that help me heal my burnout with detox. It really is all about detox. And you can detox every single part of your life, but you gotta have boundaries, and you gotta understand. You gotta understand the right way to do things, right? So when it comes to exercise, especially when you're in a burnt out state, you can't push yourself 100%. You gotta be light. You gotta caress yourself like a cat. You can't just go in, right? So when you're doing a detox, when you're doing a fast, when you're coming out of burnout, the first thing I always suggest is, earthing. We're walking barefoot on the planet. This is so vitalizing to your system. You look at Daniel Lieberman, PhD, wrote a great book, Story of the Human Body. He talks about the anatomy of the human body is made to walk anywhere from 5 to 12 miles a day. And he talks about the mental benefits that come from it. He talks about how it defragments and sorts out the subconscious mind. It gives you time to think. You're out in nature, you're earthing. You're restoring your electromagnetic field from the planet. It's energizing you in so many different ways. You're getting the sunlight and the vitamin D. And it's so healing for your system. It's not the same as jogging. You might say, well, John, I get out and I jog. Well, jogging is actually stressful on your system. It's not healing, it's stress. See, walking is actually therapeutic. You walk barefoot, you're healing so many different parts of your body. It's circulating the blood so well. It's fixing your hormonal system. It's really getting you into the nervous system state of rest and digest. You know, we talk about the big 3 pillars of health: nervous system health, which is really whether or not you're stressed, right? Nervous system health, hormonal health, and organ health. You get those 3 right, you have superheroes going through your body, fixing the entire city. That's what detox helps with. And so here, you're getting a light little sweat, you're detoxing your whole system, your nervous system is getting nourished. And so you just take walks. That's what I do every morning. I get out, take a walk. Arnold Schwarzenegger got out. First thing he'd do, take a nice 45-minute bike ride to Gold's Gym. You're getting that morning low angle sunlight that sets you up for good nights of sleep. Circadian rhythm, melatonin systems getting activated. Everybody can walk. It's so light, it's so nourishing. Going for a light swim, somewhat similar. But the thing with that is that there's chlorine, and so it's actually giving you a slight toxic load. If you're swimming in a river or the ocean, it's much better. Just being real. Sorry for all you guys who love swimming. You know, it's easy on the joints, etc. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying you gotta detox that chlorine. How do you detox that chlorine? There's ways. We talk about the spirulina chlorella mixed with cilantro. We talk about the bentonite clay. And everything that we're doing is strengthening the body so that the natural detox systems are overloaded. So no worries, you can really detox from almost anything, but what you want to choose is the things that are so healing and nourishing to your body so that you don't have to worry about detoxing more. So get out, we get our steps in. You know, that translates to 8 to 12 miles, translates to about 8,000 to 16,000 steps every single day. So I'm getting my steps in. You know, it's regulating, that's burning fat, and that's regulating the hormones in a big way. That's decreasing cortisol, which helps you have healthy testosterone production. You know, they call cash is king, but you know what's king when it comes to fat loss? Walking. Look at Aaron Labor. He talks about this all the time. There's such strong scientific evidence and medical evidence substantiating this. You can really nourish your metabolism just by walking. It's not all about calories, guys. Think more about your nervous system, your organs, and your hormones. You get those right, you will transform. You just think about burning calories, you will not transform. That does not work. You know, that's why everybody who does these calorie diets, Jenny Craig, counting points, it's not enough. You gotta figure out how to nourish my nervous system, decrease my stress, detox my organs, empower my organs with good nutrition and herbs, practices that nourish my organs like Hatha Yoga, Qigong, how to improve your hormones. You know, there's sciences to all these things. So that's my biggest recommendation. You know, most people thought I was going to say weightlifting, calisthenics, yoga, those all have their place. And those are all very powerful. But when you're dealing with burnout, you can't go too hard. I still recommend you do your push-ups. You know, I'm out here, I'm going to do some calisthenics, experimenting getting away from UFit because I was deadlifting heavy and something kind of threw out in my back a little bit. Still dealing with it, so taking a few months off from the heavy weights. I'm gonna go back, but just doing more calisthenics, doing more cardio, doing more outdoor workouts. So you experiment with what works for you. You know, I love calisthenics. We get out here, do the pull-ups, the dips, the muscle-ups, sprinting, probably one of the best things you can possibly do for your hormones. You know, you also look at Lieberman. You look at his research on, give me a second here. Research on sprinting. So what keeps you young is the sprinting and the jumping too. That keeps your hormonal and your energy system very young. It's a little bit stressful, but just don't overdo it. That's what builds muscle and completely changes your growth hormone, your testosterone. So even simple stuff, like everybody knows how to sprint, but you gotta warm up. So simple stuff like doing lunges to warm up. Lunges like this, you start adding a little pop to it. And so when you're using those dynamic fibers, it's completely different when you do the intense intervals like that. Same thing with the push-ups. You go fast, you can do the clapping push-ups, you can do the clapping pull-ups. That really changes the workout. So all that stuff is good, you know? Everybody should do resistance training 3 times a week. Everybody should do their sprinting 2 or 3 times a week. You only gotta do like 5 sprints. You know, it takes like 10, 20 minutes. You know, do your warm-up, get your sprints in, do your 20 minutes of resistance training, and always you have to go based on the phase that you're in. You know, every day you're gonna feel different, let alone if you're in a burnt out phase, you have to alter it. If you're in a phase where you're detoxing, you have to alter it. So just be smart about it. I used to be this zealot that thought I always have to increase my performance every single workout, progressive overload. You're hurting yourself. Remember your nervous system. Nourish your nervous system. This is what people mean when they say honor your body, honor yourself. You have to be in touch with what you're capable of, what's good for you. Nourish yourself. Be like a good mother to yourself, like a good friend to yourself. Don't be that stupid coach that pushes you so far you get injured. Don't be that stupid coach that doesn't understand the healing process of the body and is just working with high school athletes, right? You gotta be the intelligent coach, the intelligent investor in your own health. So that's what I learned over the last 20 years in exercise science, reading hundreds of books, practicing almost everything that you can practice. You know, honoring yourself, knowing what heals your body, walks in nature, qigong, yoga, that's the kind of stuff. And then when you have the energy, keep up with your calisthenics, keep up with your muscle building. This keeps you really young. This helps your metabolism. You know, always get a light sweat going, whether it's walking. But, you know, it's always good to understand qigong. It's always good to understand the light healing practices so you can do more of that when you need more of that. All right, so what I want you guys to do is really look at what you need when you need it, and then honor that, right? And so a lot of the time too, it's time for a lot of people to do a little reset. It's time to do a little bit of a cleanse. And so people are always wondering, well, if I'm feeling burnt out, what should I do? How do I cleanse? How do I start detoxing? And it's really as easy as just understanding what herbs to start taking. You know, you start slow. So you start taking herbs in the morning and at night that start purging the toxins from your system, that start energizing your body. You know, it's calming your nervous system. It's nourishing your organs, getting your hormones back online. And so that's why you wake up and you take your antimicrobial herbs, your turmeric and your neem with some honey. You go out, you get your walk. You know, that's what I just did. I did 33 sun salutations. Gonna do some calisthenics now. Walk home. Drink the triphala. You know, that's cleansing everything in your system. It's easy as just drinking herbs, guys. And then during the afternoon, I'm gonna be taking my adaptogens, stimulating my brain, stimulating my hormonal system, getting my system fired up for the day. When I eat food, I'm eating all the digestive herbs, the ginger, the long pepper, the trikatu, the cumin, the anise, all these amazing yogic, Ayurvedic digestive herbs. Keeps your system strong, burns away toxins. At night, we're doing the magnesium, the ashwagandha, the valerian root, the chamomile, you know, all these things calming the nervous system. What's that doing? helping optimize the nervous system, optimize your sleep, optimize your detox as you sleep. It's too easy. You're detoxing while you sleep, but you have to get deep sleep. We got our Ringcon, tracks our sleep. That's coming in soon. And so understanding just the simple herbs to take, you do that for 7 days, you feel completely different. I forgot to mention, you take the ghee. Ghee is one of the best substances to start drawing toxins out of your muscles, out of your organs, into your GI tract to be expelled. And then you take the right herbs, it expels it, right? So this is all, in 7 days you can start feeling amazing. And that's what I just want to keep on telling people is, it's as easy as just knowing what herbs to take. Of course you gotta know what not to eat, how not to get toxins into your system. And I have a free guide for that too. But the first thing I want you to get is the free guide for understanding just the simple herbs to take to start detoxing your system so you can be at your best. So click that below, there's a link. Go and get that. And let me know if you have questions about the herbs. It lays out everything, how much to take, when to take it. It's super simple, super straightforward, super easy to follow. It's called the Miracle Cleanse. You start cleansing like this, in 7 days you find an amazing change in your energy, your sleep, the pain in your body. You start getting back your vitality, getting back your charisma, getting back your mojo, feeling like Johnny Bravo again. Or feeling like the Disney princess that you deserve to feel like, right? Because we're out here, we have a holy healing mission, right? And we have to start with ourselves. Raise our vibration, raise our enthusiasm, raise our energy, heal ourselves so that we can go out and heal the world. We all know the society is toxic, so we gotta preserve ourselves from it. And slowly but surely, we mold it into our image. Heaven on earth. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We're here to bring heaven to earth. We're here to change this toxic society. And this toxic society cannot touch you when you have the right knowledge, when you have the right aura, when you have the right mission. There's a protection for us. And this knowledge is here to protect us, to revive us, so that we can spread it. This is the mission. So I want to thank you so much for caring about yourself, for nourishing yourself as a healer. You are the agent. You are the Osmosis Jones. You are the Jedi Knight. You are the Batman in Gotham City. We are together, this movement, and we are healing the world. Today, you heal the world with your holy thoughts, with your holy actions, with your healthful actions, with your joy, with your laughter. You heal the world. It's a beautiful thing. So get that guide right now. And if this video helped you, please like it. And if you want more information on this type of material, subscribe, because we're in this together, and I'm going to be bringing more and more holy science on how to detox so that we can get out there and be the healers in the world. The massage therapists truly believe that we are the Jedis, the Batman, the Osmosis Jones. All right, so get the goods below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.